This program is brought to you by the University of Southern Queensland.
Are you ready for a bit of talk that's a bit out of this world?
Oh my
Out
gosh.
of this world.
Thank you. All the way from Toowoomba, we have
Get out.
Mr. Jake Clark. Please welcome Jake Clark. Hello.
G'day, fellas. How are we?
I'm pretty well, Jake. Pretty well. Glad to hear your voice. Glad to talk to you.
Yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit about old news, like Nick said, but also always relevant news. It's one of the biggest breakthroughs in history. So, Stuart, kick us off.
I wanted to spearhead this because I've always been interested by space, Jake. But the thing I wanted to make clear is in this photo of the black hole, what exactly are we actually seeing? And sort of, it's protrude as orange, obviously, but I thought black holes take in all light. So how can we take a photo of an
Shouldn't
image
black holes
where
be
there's...
black?
Eh?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. So what you're actually seeing for those who may have not seen the picture of this incredible discovery of a image of the first ever black hole that we've been able to image, I should say. So this is M87 star. It's a supermassive black hole in the center of another galaxy entirely, and that galaxy M87. And so it looks a bit like a cosmic donut, and it looks as if someone sort of put a coffee, left a coffee cup on the table, and there's sort of that ring. And so what we're actually seeing is a couple of different things. And the reason why you can see it in, say, red and orange is that it's a false color image. Oh. What you're actually seeing is the brightness, which we've just sort of, well, not me, but the scientists have.
Can't take credit for that always.
No, not at all. Have just sort of put on a color map to show different features of the black hole. So definitely. A black hole would have a broad range of the electromagnetic spectrum spiraling around it. And the whole reason why one side is brighter than the other is that because the material that's accreting around the black hole, it's traveling at almost light speed, the sort of cosmic speed limit. And so if things are traveling away from you, it sort of gets a little bit duller. And then if it's traveling towards you, then it's a lot brighter. And not only that, but because a black hole also warps space and time, which is another conversation entirely, you sort of get the flipping, you actually see the sort of shadow of the black hole. And so the shadow is actually the light around it, which is very unintuitive, but that's just the way space and time gets warped by such a massive object.
Well, that's a very good point. So just to clarify, so sort of that orangey yellow light, it's sort of more of a visual representation as such.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, cool. Well, I was also wondering because I saw the black hole is part of a larger image, is it not? And the black hole is just a zoomed in section of that image that took years and years and a buttload of data to actually take. But I wanted to know, how is the photo taken logistically, computationally, sort of how is it projected from taking this photo to being on our computer screens?
Yeah, excellent question. So scientists have, it's absolutely crazy what we're able to do. So we have radio telescopes spread across the world, and you can connect them all up to essentially be a radio telescope the same size as Earth.
Really?
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. It's called Very Long Baseline Interferometry.
Okay.
Because, scientists like big words.
Yes.
Hey, you don't study for like 6 years to not say small words. You really got to make sure, guys. We are smart. We've studied for this long. Please respect us. We are smart.
We don't have time for acronyms here.
Exactly.
No, there's more acronyms flying around than black holes in the universe. So if you sort of expand it out, then it sounds a little bit smarter too. But essentially, what it is, if you think of your huge bathroom mirror, you can see you can see your dirty towel in the background, you can see your shower and all the rest of it. But what we're actually doing is, imagine instead of having a big mirror in front of you, you just have, say, 7 or 8 odd mirrors spread across the surface of the wall there. And so you can see bits and pieces of you, but you can't see all of you. And essentially that's what we see with the black hole, we can see bits and pieces of the black hole, but not the entire image, because obviously we don't have a radio telescope the same size as Earth. You just have...
I think we'd notice.
No, that's right. You would notice that. So you have smaller radio telescopes spread across the distance of Earth, and that's how you make that image. So Dr. Katie Bowman, who's sort of been the sort of face of this discovery, she was fundamental to working on the artificial intelligence side of stitching all of these images up to be able to give us an image of the black hole. Because if you only have 8 different images, say, I'm trying to think of a good analogy here, maybe like a jigsaw puzzle, and you only have 10 pieces on the table, then you're trying to make and create an image of the whole jigsaw puzzle with only those 10 pieces.
Yeah.
And so you could have a wide range of images that would also match the pieces of that jigsaw puzzle.
I see. I was just thinking. On the topic of Dr. Bowman, I saw a photo of her posing in front of some data disks. I'm not sure the proper terminology for them. When the photo of the black hole was announced, and I saw something. I think this. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was 6,000 petabytes, which I believe is a petabyte is 1,000 terabytes to the best of my knowledge. But I was, what does it take for 6,000 petabytes? That's a lot of data. Why does it take this much data just to take a range of photos? I mean, obviously it's a lot, but why does it take so much to capture this?
Yeah, another excellent question. I mean, you're getting data from different telescopes. You're also probably collecting data over a long period of time. I don't have the actual numbers behind me, but I could imagine you would have hours or if not days of exposure time there just in that one image. And so
true.
That there is a lot of data. And not to mention just coming from not one telescope, but I think there's about 8 different telescopes there. That can easily bump up into the numbers of petabytes of data. I think the largest storage space in the world would be at the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider on the border of Switzerland and France. And they just get so much data that they don't know what to do with it. And the same as we have the ASCAP telescopes out in outback Western Australia, and they're taking more data than which we can store right now. So astronomy is in this sort of big data era, and you have to be really smart of, okay, well, we can't collect all of the information, so what information can we collect, and go from there. And groups have arguments for weeks on end to try and say, well, my research is more important than yours. So
That's really interesting to hear, Jake. I really love what you said there about it's the big data era of studies in space. So I just wanted to ask you a little bit of a final question here. Now, you said talking about the Big Hadron Collider, talking about NASA. Now, all these people are coming together to accumulate this data. So I want to ask you, what does this mean for the future of black hole studies? Does this mean more collaboration between space expenditures? So yeah, but what do you think it means for the future of black hole studies?
I think it just shows that gone are the days of Einsteins and Newtons, Curies. Not one person now can answer a scientific question. It takes a whole team of people from different institutes all around the world to help answer some of these more fundamental questions, like can we photograph a black hole? Can we find an Earth-sized planet orbiting around that Goldilocks zone of another star?
Can we please find a planet that has life, like Earth? Because I desperately want to see aliens.
I'm sure there will be.
I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. But yeah, and in terms of black hole study, this is only the first image. So, let's
exciting
go back to the gravitational wave discovery of looking at the ripples of space-time itself when two black holes merge into one. And we only just discovered the first gravitational wave only a couple of years ago, and I read that I think it was last week or the week before, LIGO, who's the sort of collaboration team behind it, they discovered 2 in 1 week.
Wow!
So as soon as you get one, then that's just one on the blackboard, so to speak, and then you can refine it later on. And I think what they're trying to do now is actually get a photograph of our own supermassive black hole in the center of our own Milky Way galaxy.
Now that's beautiful.
That's
An
very
era
cool.
begins of collaboration and teamwork.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we want to hear.
It's exciting to hear, and I'm personally very glad to hear that science is taking such these large steps. I heard it was very akin to when they first figured out that man could go to the moon. Like it's a huge stepping point forward for space. Sort of, it's an early stepping stone for space exploration as well as space, just our knowledge, because there's obviously so much of it. So I'm glad to see that teams can come together to perform this massive feat. And thank you, Jake, for clearing everything up for us.
Thank you very much for being here, Jake. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Today's world is more competitive, challenges are more complex, industries more rapidly changing, employers more demanding. You need to think bigger, act faster, work smarter. And to do it, you need to be more than skilled, more than relevant, more than qualified, more than confident, more than employable. Become more with the University of Southern Queensland, the #1 uni for graduate employment in Queensland. Apply now at usq.edu.au.